What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel here, and as you can see in front of you there is an Indigo Nintendo GameCube, and this has quickly become my favorite console, so I wanted to do a little mini review, if you will. The GameCube, as many of you know, was on the same cycle as the original Xbox, also the PlayStation 2, and technically speaking the Dreamcast, although those two just kind of crossed in the night. They didn't really see each other. The GameCube was technically not a cube, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's just go around the console real quick. 4 controller ports, just like the N64, and then 2 little memory card ports here, slot A, slot B. Mine have seen better days. They've been abused. Just for show, this is kind of the memory cards that they use. Mine are both aftermarket. I don't know who makes this one, and this one is apparently made by Intech, it looks like. Whatever. They just went right in there, except this one's upside down, so it won't go in anywhere. And that is what it is. This one is older, and as you can see there, 4 megabytes. Not a whole lot of memory. I guess back then, that was a lot. Whatever. You flip it up on top, and let's see if I can do this where you guys can see. You got your power button, your Nintendo GameCube Jewel. This actually pries off. You don't want to do that though, that would be silly. This is the reset button if it screws up, your indicator light to say that it is on, and the open button, which does, wonder what it does. This opens it up. We got a disc in there. We'll come back to that in a little bit. But inside of here, I actually saw somebody do something really cool today. Let me see if I can get you guys up here. Apparently, yeah, did not know this, but the little silver bit right there in the middle, if you push it, it pops the disc loose. I had no idea. I didn't have one of these back in the day. That could be why. Yeah, it played these little mini discs, which we will talk about here in a bit. I got some thoughts on those. Mario Kart Double Dash, must pick this up. Rated E for everyone. Just close the little tray down. Let's turn it around. You got a vent on this side here for dust purposes, heat purposes actually. And then coming around on the back, you've got your video outs. This one is your analog AV out. This is a digital AV out. I have literally never seen this port. This is the same as what was on your Super Nintendo and your N64. And then there is your DC adapter port, which is hard to get in the light because of the handle. Also, if you were ever looking to carry your lunch to work, they put that stupid little handle in there. You could grab a hold of it. I have no idea why anyone would think that was a good idea, except for maybe like using this as a dumbbell. Let's see, underneath, I'm missing a serial port cover. There's a reason behind that. There are 2 more, one here and one here. These simply just pop off with those little tabs, and they're for accessing some accessory ports. I actually don't know what these 2 use. A lot of people think that they're for the Game Boy Advance player, but I'm going to show you that that is simply not the case, because I have here with me one Game Boy Advance player. Actually, before I put it on, or put it back on, you'll note that the only port that this bad boy accesses is this one here at the bottom. That's why I don't have the cover. Game Boy Advance player snaps on just like that. It screws in with these. There's 2 screws on top, one here and one here. Screws in, then you can pop a Game Boy Advance game in there. Good luck to you. Play it on your GameCube. It'll be very exciting. Now, what that does do, by adding the Game Boy Advance player, we actually do now have a real cube. The GameCube is a cube. So that's cool, right? Let's take a look at some of the, and we'll set this aside, some of the what you would have used. Obviously, we already talked about the memory card with this console. They were divided up into blocks. That's what you got to look at when you're buying a memory card, how many blocks it is. These are megabytes. I don't know how many blocks are per megabyte, but it is what it is. We talked about the game disc, and just for comparison's sake, I think I can reach over here and grab a standard disc. This is Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2 of the same generation, and you just stick them, I mean, it's what, half the size, which actually leads me to a point of annoyance, I guess. Nintendo could have charged us a lot less, or not a lot less, but could have charged us less, because you open this up and look, Super Mario Sunshine is kept in this space right here. There's a memory card space up here for me to do this. Well, okay, this one won't fit, but you get the idea. And then your manuals over here are fantastic. I love manuals. But I could have settled for a smaller manual and maybe, just work with me here for a moment, maybe we could have had a case like this, like a DS case. Look, oh, what? Yeah, we definitely could have used like half the packaging during the GameCube days and gotten away with it, but Nintendo never want to outdo itself. Didn't come up with that until we got to the DS. It is what it is. Here is a standard controller. This is a Spice Orange GameCube controller that needs a new analog, but running down the way that the controller worked, you had one analog here and the D-pad to the left side, which this controller honestly resembles their attributes of the Xbox on this one for sure. In the center, you've got the start, pause. You've got the offset analogs, which is most reminiscent of the Xbox. The C-stick here, it had some various different things. I believe there were some games that you could map like weapons to, so you would go one way and it would switch to a weapon. I don't know. But for the most part, it was camera control. Tilt around and see yourself better, whatever. A button, obviously the focus here, big green A, little red B, less focused on. The Y and X, the way I try to think of these, because I'm a Sony guy, is triangle, circle, X, and square. And that seems to work pretty well most of the time. If an action is mapped to the triangle button on a Sony game, then it's going to be Y for the most part. It's not foolproof, but that's pretty close to accurate. Then you tilt around here up top. We got the two shoulder buttons, and these are known as double action buttons. They slide like that, and then also you'll hear it here. Slide it in, and then there's a click. So there's double action with these. There's the slide for the analog part, and then the click for a regular pressure button. The only complaint I really have about the GameCube controller, because honestly this thing fits your hand great, it feels awesome except for that jagged edge right there. It feels awesome. You don't have much use for the D-pad, but it's kind of a soft D-pad, I guess. But otherwise, a really good controller except for the Z button. The Z button, in my mind, is just one big fat nuisance. I didn't enjoy it. It does not click. It's not like the two analog triggers. It doesn't click. There's no. It just stops. And if you've ever taken one of these apart, it's a pain in the butt to get this button in and out. So I'm not a big fan of that. But all in all, one of my favorite controllers. Like I said, this has become easily one of my favorite consoles in the last few months as well. So there's the Spice Orange controller. I've heard a lot of complaints about the short cord, and I have this one all tangled up so we can't look at it, but about 4 feet long maybe. And then here is the connector that connects into the front of the GameCube. And there was another type of regular controller, if you will, and that was the Wavebird, which connected through this little guy here. This is the receiver, connects into the port, and it's actually, I find this interesting, it's curved to fit that front bulge on the GameCube. And then what you do, let's see if we can get this to focus here. There you go. You see the number selector dial here, 11, 12. I play on channel 12. You can have several of these in the same area, and the only way to do this back then, I guess, was to have a selector on both the receiver and the controller. And you see there, you select to 12 on the Wavebird, and this is the Wavebird, the Platinum Wavebird. It's the exact same controller with a couple of exceptions. On-off switch there with the power indicator light, and you'll notice instead of being spaced in this area because of the battery pack, they just filled it in and expanded it. But it has all the same buttons. Shoulder buttons still click. Still got the annoying Z button. A, B, X, Y, start of regular analog, not a jacked up one. your C stick and your D-pad. You flip it over. This filled-in area is mostly for the battery pack, which takes 2 AA's. It's got a battery cover. Be sure you get that if you ever get one of these. Licensed by Nintendo for the Nintendo GameCube. And then, again, the channel selector down here, that takes up a good bit of space too. This controller is a good bit heavier. And if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't have rumble? Do either of them have rumble? You know, come to think of it, I'm not sure if the regular controller has rumble either, but this one does not, for sure. I'm positive of that now. But the Wavebird and the standard controller, that's what you had for the GameCube. Really love the fact that there was a licensed wireless controller, and we'll run through it again. This is your disc, this is your memory card, that's your controller, and they all go inside of this fancy little lunch pail right here. And it's just a pretty little system. It looks so great, it takes up much less space, and really it's astonishing to me that the GameCube lost out so dramatically in the console wars during that generation, because just the games that I have sitting over there on the shelf, we've got Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Mario Kart Double Dash, what else did we have? Rogue Leader, Super Mario Sunshine. Really creative, brightly colored games. I would say that's the big difference on this particular generation in my mind, and why I'm now, even though I've been a Sony guy my whole life, why I'm now favoring Nintendo on this particular generation is because the games are brighter, more colorful, just more fun. And I know we joke about Nintendo being the fun, casual console. Well, in this instance, I really enjoy it. I like the bright colors of the GameCube, and I like the bright colors of the games. So I really enjoy the GameCube. I intend, and I just actually made this decision tonight to try. The girlfriend and I sat down and talked about it. We're going to try and get a complete GameCube collection. Yeah. Never thought about doing that before, but a complete GameCube collection. That's going to be the first thing we're going to try, including getting both of the styles of the Wavebird, all the controllers. We're going to try. We're going to see what happens, picking up all the consoles too. So look for more videos on that coming up soon, and look for more of these reviews, and let me know if you like them. I enjoy doing these. They're not technically reviews, but kind of an overview of the console. How about that? And we'll do some more of these. I've got a lot of consoles over there that we'll talk about. So thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Share this if you know people that will find it interesting, and we'll see you next time.